Hey guys, it's Megan. I'm going to help you move more at home today, and we're going to look at a Vinyasa. So Vinyasa is that movement that you kind of link your postures together, especially when you're moving from the left to the right. Sometimes this is called a full Chaturanga or Chaturanga, and it's not the easiest thing to do, and it takes a lot of practice. But I think the most important thing that you can know about this is that they're progressions. So there are lots of different ways to move through your Vinyasa that slowly get you to that full Chaturanga. So I'm going to break down all of the different parts of the Vinyasa, and then hopefully you can get there. So first thing you need to work on is your full plank. So in full plank, you want to have your shoulder above your wrist. So when we come into that kind of top of a push-up position, our shoulders above our wrist, our fingers are spread wide. I'm looking beyond my fingers, I'm kicking into my heels to make sure that I've got a nice long spine, and then I'm drawing my hip and my last rib slightly towards each other so that I'm engaging the belly. So from this position is where we start always, and then for that first knees, chest, chin, you're going to drop your knees onto the floor. And then from here, making sure that your wrist is still under your shoulder, draw your belly in so you're using your core. You're going to turn the bony bit of your elbow to face your hips. You're going to look forwards, and you're going to start to travel your shoulders forwards. What you want to do as you're lowering is keeping your elbow above your wrist, and you're going to use what's called your tricep. So it's the back of your arm. That's the muscle group we're going to use. So we're going to lower, 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 all the way onto our belly. Now from this position, we start to use our posterior chain. This is our back body. So you want to tuck your elbows into the side of the body, point your toes, start to press the tops of the feet into the floor, press your pubic bone down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and start to lift your chest. Now I'm not pressing into my hands. This is going to strengthen my back. And I take an inhale here. And then I'm going to lower. I'm going to push myself into a child's pose. And then I'll probably make my way back into a downward dog. All right. So that's knees, chest, chin. Forwards into plank. Lower your knees onto the floor. Turn the elbows to face the hips. Belly draws in. Lower, shoulders travel forwards, elbows in. Slide onto the belly. Squeeze back body to lift the heart. And then exhale into your child's pose. Alright, so the next one we're going to do is a slow progression. We're going to start to use more of our tricep muscles, and we're going to start to lift a little bit higher in that back bend. So I'll show you. Again, we always start in that plank position, getting our body nice and long. Now this time, I'm going to keep my belly engaged, and I'm going to lower all the way onto the floor. So again, my elbows turn to face backwards. I look forwards. I lower, 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 all the way onto my belly. Nice. From here, you untuck your toes. So option one, again, take that little low cobra here. So you lift up. Option two, you're going to start to press into your hands and find full cobra. Now what's important here is that you don't lock out your elbows and your shoulders aren't kind of hanging out by those ears. So you keep a soft bend. I'm still tucking my triceps into the side of my body. Good. And then as I exhale, I'm going to draw my belly in, maybe push to a child's pose, or maybe I'm going to go straight up into my downward dog. So I'll show that one a little bit quicker. You come forwards into that plank, then you turn the elbows to face the hips. Lower all the way onto the belly. Untuck the toes, lift into that baby cobra, or start to take it a little bit higher into full cobra. Draw my belly in, either through child's pose or straight back into downward dog. Alrighty, so both of those are totally fine Vinyasa options. The last one is full Chaturanga, and that is that full kind of half press up into your upward dog, back into downward dog. It requires lots of tricep strength, as well as lots of core strength, because you don't want to be dumping into your lower back. So I'm just going to show what I often see in yoga classes, and this is when people start to come through full Chaturanga, but without strong enough triceps. So what I often see is people come into plank, and maybe already their hips are dropping. Then they start to lower, and this is kind of what it looks like. A bit of a 1980s worm to the floor, and then they just kind of go, yep, I'm in upward dog, and then they go back to downward dog. Through that whole pose, they've not bent their elbows, they've not used their arms. This is telling me the arm strength isn't there. Stay with dropping those knees. It's going to protect your lower back. So if we want to come through that full Chaturanga, again, we start in that plank. So we take the knees back, or not the knees back, the toes back. Look beyond those fingers. Turn the elbows to face the hips. I'm going to look forwards. My shoulders are going to travel forwards. Elbows stay above my wrists. Okay? Now, what's really important here is that you don't take your shoulder past your elbow. In this position, before you get to that kind of 90 degrees bend, your tricep muscle can work. If you go lower than that, you start to dump into your rotator cuff, your shoulder joint. So what I don't want to see from my students when they practice is they come forwards and they do what I call like a dolphin dive. They take the shoulders way too low and their bum stays really high. Woo! That is going to really, over time, start to give you some RSI in your shoulder. So super important that you only lower to that 90-degree point. So it's that baby press up and you can hear, oh, I'm out of breath. And that's because full chaturangas are tough. They take a lot of energy. So come into that plank, drawing in the core. I'm going to lower halfway down. Now from here, I'm going to look forwards. I'm going to pull my chest forwards and I'm going to come into upward dog. Again, I'm not locking out my elbows. I can lock out my elbows, but then I'm dumping into my joint and not my tricep. So upward dog is kind of like that cobra. So from cobra, you're just going to lift, then you're going to engage your butt and your thighs, press your feet into the floor, pull your heart forwards to lengthen out that spine. Good, okay, so half lower, look forwards, pull the heart forwards, come onto the tops of the feet. So you kind of flip onto the tops of the feet. The next thing is what people often forget about, and that's to use the core to come back into downward dog. So we don't want to kind of flipper the feet first, which is what I see all the time. And what I mean by that is from that upward dog, people do this, and then send their bum back up to the sky. They're not really using their core and they're not protecting their lower back. So we come into that plank, lower halfway, pull forwards, chest comes forwards. Now from here, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to suck my belly in. You can see my butt starts to lift. I'm going to push into my hands, send my bum up to the sky, and then I can just flipper my toes. But I'm not dumping into my lower back. So I'll demonstrate that a little bit quicker. Coming into that plank. The core is engaged. Watch when I lower, my hips don't go down. I lower in one long line, then I pull forwards on tops of my feet, lift my heart, then I suck my belly in, push into my hands, and then my feet roll over. Easy peasy. So I'll show you really quickly all three options. Forwards into plank. Drop your knees, untuck your toes, lower your chin and chest, come onto the belly, inhale, lift the heart, baby cobra. Exhale, push yourself back into child's pose, and then back into downward dog. That's option one. Option two, taking it a little bit further, all the way into your plank. Lower all the way down, lifting into baby cobra, maybe pushing into full cobra, or if you're working on upward dog, from here you're going to pull the heart forwards, come on tops of the feet. Then draw the belly in, back into downward dog. Full chaturanga. Forwards into plank. Look forwards, lower halfway. On tops of the feet, lift the heart, try not to lock out your elbows. Suck the belly in. Send your bum back up to the sky. Take a little pedal in those feet. A nod and shake the head. And then come down onto your knees. So that's your three options. You've got knees, chest, chin. You've got kind of like a lower all the way down. And then baby cobra, full cobra, or upward dog. And then you've got that full chaturanga. Well done, guys. You'll really feel this in the arms and the shoulders. Keep it up.